the giveaway that doubled my business 3 times. We've made this giveaway a repeatable process that we now do every 6 months, and every time we do, the business grows. You're probably familiar with giveaways already. We've all seen our friends refer to us, hey, you can win a car, just enter the contest, and the more people you refer, the bigger the chance that you're gonna win. And it's designed to go viral and connect more people. This giveaway doesn't do that at all. In fact, it's not designed to be shared at all. Instead, our goal is just to go deep with our existing audience. And the reason we do this is because going deep has always worked the best for me. In my mind, the better customers I get, eventually, the more good customers I get. So if you think of a customer as a bag of money, we all want more of these. We want a nice big stuffed bag full of money. And so we naturally want to think that if we just got more bags of money, we would make more money. But that's not necessarily true. Because if you just go broad and you just focus on getting more and more bags, you might end up with a bunch of these. Empty bags with almost no money in them. I'm more interested in the big fat money bags, even if it's fewer of them. And so the goal of this giveaway is always to go deep with the audience I already have, and so deep that they'll do absolutely anything that I ask them to do. So how do we do that? Well, through a bunch of Jedi mind tricks, and if you want to learn about those Jedi mind tricks, well, obviously talk to Daniel, because he already talked about influence and psychology. You'll just see those kind of play out, because I'm going to show you the life cycle of someone in this giveaway. So let's say you're Lisa. You've been on my email list for a very long time, and you know that we specialize in very premier coaching. So we charge about $400 a month for coaching, and we focus on like guaranteed fluency, very, very deep work with expert coaches. So when you get this email and you're like, whoa, 12 months of Spanish coaching for free? Of course I'm going to click and opt into this giveaway. You just fill it out. There's a little note there that says, if you do some assignments, it's going to go better. So instantly, you're put in this sequence of emails. Thanks for signing up for the giveaway. To participate, read the whole email. For now, just respond to this email and I'll give you an extra entry. You're doubling your chances of winning the contest. Why do you want to learn Spanish? So Lisa responds and she tells me why she wants to learn Spanish. All of the emails that are in here are real. I've just changed people's names and a couple little details. So she describes her whole personal reason why learning Spanish would change her life and all of this stuff. And then Lisa gets a surprise. I respond to her. Whoa, it sounds like you have a really compelling reason to learn Spanish. And man, you want to raise your son to be a bilingual? That's so cool. You have an extra entry in the giveaway contest. Stay involved. So now Lisa's really excited. The very next day, she gets another email, and this time it's focused on the idea of taking action. I tell her, we don't want to give this away to someone who's not going to actually do the work. So I give her I've cut it out of here, it's way too nerdy, but there's like a really nerdy assignment that I give her, and I'm like, if you talk about this insight, so give me some insight into English grammar based on this assignment, then I'll give you 2 extra entries for being an action taker. Lisa responds. After doing the homework, she goes to that website and she figures out, so this is again really nerdy, but she figures out, whoa, the word you is the most frequent word in Spanish, or in English. Why is that? And then once again, she gets a personalized response from me, commenting on, yeah, it is. Also, you've doubled your number of entries in the contest. Good job. Next day, she gets her next assignment, and what I tell her is, subscribe to our podcast. If you do, I'll give you extra entries in the contest. And the reason for doing this is because we are not just any random Spanish coaching. We coach our students according to specific methods, and I want to make sure that you're really familiar with those methods, so subscribe to our podcast. Show me a screenshot proving that you've subscribed, and I'll give you 2 extra entries in the contest. The next day, I'll give you 3 extra entries if you prove that you're listening to it and really thinking about it by writing a detailed description of what you like or don't like about the podcast. Give me an honest paragraph telling me your thoughts on the podcast. The next, and she'll write something like this. It's very sweet of her. Always nice to read. And then, upcoming assignment, I want you to do this other random homework assignment and then write out in detail, what is it that has frustrated you in the past about things that you've tried to do to learn Spanish? Because if you write that out and think about it, we're going to try to overcome that in the coaching if you win. So Lisa writes out all these things about what's frustrated her in the past about trying to learn Spanish. The next assignment is crazy. I tell her, okay, let's say you win this coaching. I want you to visualize what that looks like a year from now. Picture it vividly, write it out, read it out loud to yourself. What is it like to have done 12 months of coaching and now be connecting with people? What relationships are different? What does fluency look like for you? And so she responds with this very vivid picture of like what it looks like for her to have learned Spanish, what's different in her life and her relationships. And once again, she gets a personal response. Sounds like you're committed. Let's do it. 5 extra entries in the contest. One of the final ones, I tell her about, this is a true story. We gave away coaching several years back, and somebody won. We sent him an email, and he ghosted us. We were like, hey, you get months of coaching for free, and he never responded to us. And so I'm like, you know why he did that? Because he wasn't serious. So I want to know that you're serious. I'm going to increase your chances of winning if you prove that you are going to do the work. And in fact, whether you win the coaching or don't, you're going to learn Spanish this year. So what I want you to do is tell your friends, remember, they're not spreading the word about my coaching program at all. What they're doing is telling their friends, I'm committed to being fluent in Spanish in 2025. To do this, I'm going to spend 1 or 2 hours a day on Spanish, 5 days a week. Can I count on you to hold me accountable to this? Lisa's not allowed to do this as a social media post. Instead, she tells her friends in person this script, or she writes them an email, or she talks to them on the phone. So, she gives me way too much information about everybody that she told. Like, wow. Sounds like you're committed. You're telling all these people that you're going to learn Spanish this year and you're going to work really, really hard on it. The next thing Lisa gets is an invitation to the live drawing. We're going to find out who won the contest and we'll do it live. So if you show up, I'm going to do a little bit of teaching as well and you'll get a couple of entries for being there. So of course Lisa shows up. She has no idea that there are 1,300 other people in the giveaway. Because of all these personalized emails that she's gotten, she really thinks she's likely to win. So when she shows up on this giveaway and there are 350 other people there, she's a little bit surprised. I do a little teaching, I do the live drawing, and then one person wins. Let's say David wins. Lisa didn't win, but I tell Lisa, well, you know what? I mean, we're really excited to work with David for 12 months. He's going to do all those things he said, all the things he visualized. And if you want to as well, remember all those things that you committed to, all those people you told that whether you win or not, you will learn Spanish this year. You're going to do all the work. And so I do everything you're supposed to do in a sales webinar. All of this is an enormous amount of work. So what does it get you? Well, the first thing it gets you is a lot of these. The last time we did a giveaway was this Black Friday, and we got, out of that subsegment of 1,300 people, I think we got about 90 sales of our $3,000 coaching product just from that subsegment, and then more beyond that. So that's nice. It's good in the short term. In the long term, there are some more beneficial things that you get. And one of the most valuable is this one. So this is that subsegment of people in the giveaway. The average open rate is 83%. My normal open rates are about 40%, and Black Friday last year is about 35%. So this was really nice. Great for our deliverability. Plus, the fact that they're responding to all of these emails means that I'm more likely to go into their primary tab. So that's really nice. Remember that assignment where I told Lisa to tell me what frustrates you about learning Spanish? Well, we collect all of that and we put it in a spreadsheet and we analyze it so that we can use it in our marketing information. What has frustrated you about learning Spanish in the past? We can repurpose that. And then, remember when Lisa wrote a paragraph saying how she felt about the podcast? Well, as anybody knows who has a podcast or a book or products on Amazon, the hardest thing to do is to get people to leave reviews. The success rate is really low, even among your most stolid fans. If you just ask them to write a paragraph, that's the hard part. They're so likely to copy and paste it into Apple when you respond and ask them to. Every single time we do this giveaway, we get over 100 new reviews. So that's why, despite our fairly small audience size, we have about 40,000 currently in our email list. But this book, which is no longer in print, has 1,200 just on the US store of these reviews. Our brand new podcast from 2 years ago has over 500 reviews, and on Spotify, 1.4 thousand ratings, all only because of this giveaway. But the main reason we do this is not for any of that. The number one reason we do this giveaway is to chart. So when you get those people to send back their screenshot saying, yes, I subscribe to your podcast, we go up in the charts every single time. Because when new people are subscribing in Apple, it bumps you up. So yeah, that's the number one reason that we do this. So back in 2016, we used this technique to launch our new book, which is no longer in print, but it helped us get from 150K to 300K. It doubled our top of funnel and became one of our primary leads. In fact, it was one of the first results for Learn Spanish in Amazon for a little bit because of this technique. In 2018, we launched a new cohort coaching program, and we used this process to get our revenue up to 600K. In 2023, we did a full rebrand of the business, and we both launched a new version of our course and a new podcast. And that's what got us to 1.2 million. But this isn't right for everybody. There are a few things that have to be in place for this to work really well and to be worth all of this effort. So the first thing I would say you need is a product that people really want and that has extreme inherent value. So this isn't going to work if you're trying to give away, for example, an info product. An info product will not work for this because they won't really believe that it's a big deal that you're giving it away. A premier coaching program is great for this. And if you have some, like a top tier, like add extra coaching with you or something, you'll get people clamoring for this thing and it will be worth all the extra effort. The second thing is you need enough people for it to be worth it. So if you do all of this work and respond to all of these emails and move 2 units, it's probably going to be pretty disappointing and you'll be burnt out. And then the third and maybe most difficult thing is relevant homework assignments that they can do to escalate their commitment to the product. The reason these people are buying, again, is because they committed to it ahead of time. And they did all this work. They feel all the sunk costs of, wow, man, I've worked so hard on this. I got so excited about it. I pictured it. Now I've got to do it. A few little logistical things. One is just, we don't use any special tech for this. We just use a spreadsheet. So the entries are just copied and pasted emails and names and the reason for that assignment. Then we randomize the spreadsheet and draw a winner from that. Nothing special needed. The next thing is sequence emails versus broadcast emails. So those emails that Lisa was getting, she didn't get them at the same time as everybody else in the segment. She got them based on when she signed up. And the reason for that is if you send an email to 1,300 people asking for a homework assignment, you're going to have to respond to a lot of emails right at the beginning, and a few more will trickle in. So instead, you want to try to do this, get people to sign up at different times, and kind of flatten the curve, in a sense. That's good partly because of the email work that you have to do responding to all of these, but partly because of all of the effect that will happen in Apple or wherever you are when you send all those people to the platform to subscribe or to leave reviews. You don't want it to look like spam, so it's nice to spread it out just a little bit. And so the rush feels a little more organic. One thing that can help with this is don't just send one big giveaway announcement, announce it in a sneaky way. So you will send this big email saying, giveaway, 12 months of coaching. But before that, include a few emails that look like this. See the little PS there? A bunch of people will sneak into the giveaway early, and then you get to start the process before the giant rush. So from this big email, we get about half of the people in the giveaway do sign up then, so it's a lot of work, but we get a lot of people to sneak in and flatten that curve out. I have all my templates. I actually didn't put this in the slide, but you can get everything at learncraft.co/DC. So I just created a little short link for you. But I also just like to talk about it and see if it's right for your business, so you can ask me for any of that. But the basics are, remember that if you have a very valuable premier product that people see a lot of value in, if enough people see that value and are clamoring to get it, and if you can do relevant escalation of commitment homework assignments for it, and if you can stand to answer all of those emails or have a staff that can help you do that, that's how you can go deeper with your audience than you've ever gone before. Thank you.